Hi y'all, welcome to another vlog. Today's vlog is going to be a little different. It's more in celebration of me making my new book accounts on Instagram and TikTok. As an English major, I've studied for at least 4 years, maybe 5, just books of all different kinds, and so I decided why not make an account where I can relearn how to read for myself and not for school. So I decided to kind of celebrate that and tell you guys what my December to be read list is, or my TBR, and maybe you guys can kind of read along with me and we can share what we think about certain books. And some of these books I have read them before, but I just wanted to reread them before the year is up, and some I have never read. So yeah, let's get started and going over my list. Alright, so I'm going to start out with the book that I'm reading right now and then kind of go in order and what order I think I'm going to be reading these books. I'm not quite sure on some of them, but this is what I have for right now. So the very first book is called Normal People, and it's by Sally Rooney. Normal People is a coming of age story that I've heard a lot about on TikTok and other Bookstagram and Book Talk accounts. And it's a really famous coming of age story that's been talked about a lot recently. Basically it's about from what I understand, it's about two high school students that end up kind of reconnecting in college, and coming of age happens along the way, something along those lines. But I'm currently reading this one right now, and so far I like it, but I've only read chapter 1. So I will be posting a review on this on my Instagram account once I finish, but I'm already excited from what I've read, and because I've heard such great things, I'm just really excited about reading this book. Alright, so the very next book is Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have read this book before, but I really wanted to reread it again just because I've seen a lot of things kind of resurfacing on the internet about it, and I really loved reading this book when I was younger, and I wanted to kind of see how much I still like it, or if I do still like it now that I'm quite a bit older. We'll see. If you have not read or seen the movie of this book, it's another coming of age story. I feel like we're going to kind of see a trend with that in a lot of these books. It's another coming of age story about a person's freshman year of high school, which we all know is pretty crazy, but obviously there's some really good parts in this book that I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but I'm excited to reread it. I do want to eventually buy a copy of this and annotate it for myself, but for right now I just have a library copy. I do not own a copy of this yet, but I think that's going to be the next one I buy. So yeah. The next book is the one and only non-fiction book on this list. I don't read a lot of non-fiction books, and the non-fiction books I do read are usually like memoirs or somewhat relating to just how to live life and things like that. I'm not a huge biography person, although I used to be. I own like a bunch of old people's biographies. I'm not as much anymore, and so this kind of fits with the nonfiction I do like. It's called A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solent. This was actually recommended by John Green, which happens to be one of my favorite authors. He had a book club. I don't know if it's still happening, but he had a book club for a while and recommended this book. I've read bits and pieces, but I've never actually sat down and read it all the way through. So I'm really excited to be doing that. Basically, what this book is all about is exactly what it says, a field guide to getting lost. Rebecca kind of goes through what getting lost means, how it shows up in our lives, and how it can be beneficial to us in a way. And for someone who's kind of all over the place in their own head right now, I'm really excited to read this because I think I'm going to gain some valuable information that I probably need to add into my own life. So really excited about reading this. Right, so I, to be honest, never thought I would read these books, but I married the biggest Lord of the Rings fan of all time, so I'm going to be reading Fellowship of the Ring, the first book in the Lord of the Rings series. I've seen all the movies multiple times. I kind of know what the story is, but I'm excited to read this just because I've heard that there's a lot that the movie doesn't cover or explain, and maybe I can nerd out more with my husband while we watch these movies again, because I feel like we rewatch them at least once a year. So I'm excited to read this and kind of learn more about Frodo and the Lord of the Rings universe. I always just love a good fantasy novel, so I'm excited to add this to my repertoire. Alright, and the last book is Wrecked. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I reread it at least once a year, and I actually haven't read it yet this year, and so I want to get it done before the year ends so I can keep saying that I've read it every year. But it's All the Bright Places. The covers are wrecked, but All the Bright Places. I don't think I could tell you why this book resonates with me so much, but I've absolutely loved it since the moment I picked it up, and this year I want to actually fully annotate it. I have some sticky notes in there, but I want to just kind of, I guess, destroy this book even more and write all of my little notes and all of the reasons why I love this book so much, just so I can talk about it more with y'all. Basically, if you haven't read this book, there is two characters. You have Finch and Violet, and they kind of go on this journey, and Vi learns about how to live from someone who doesn't really want to live anymore. So I really love this book. If you don't love reading, there is a Netflix adaptation that I think is pretty okay. But I highly recommend giving this book a shot. If you haven't, you will cry. I cry every single time I read it. But it's really amazing, and it just makes me weirdly happy, even though it's such a painful book. So I'm excited to annotate this, and if you guys want to see my annotating process, because I've never really annotated a book for fun. I usually only do that with books that I'm reading for school. I will be sharing that on my Instagram and maybe on my TikTok. Maybe. So check me out on there. I've linked them both down in the description. And please let me know what you guys will be reading this December. I want to know so I can add some more books to my TBR for January and for the New Year's. I'm just really excited to kind of get back into reading again for fun. I think a lot of my English studies, I wouldn't say lost my desire to read, but just really lost my I guess, yeah, my desire to read for fun. Just because, the amount you're reading for school and the amount you're studying for school kind of just, I don't know, takes a lot out of you. So reading for fun seems more like a chore, but I'm excited to get into it, and I hope that maybe this inspired y'all to get into reading more. Alright, so I really hope you enjoyed that kind of different take on a video. If you want me to do more of these, I'd love to do them. Give this video just a thumbs up to let me know if you want to see more. But if not, the normal vlogs will be back out tomorrow, and for the rest of this December, we're going to do some pretty fun things this weekend that I'm super excited about, and super excited to bring you guys along. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!